When it comes to DBD content in general, there are many forms of mass-produced, annoying slop content. You've got your repetitive build videos, videos complaining about the new patch bad and developers are Hitler, and even the boring, unedited discussion videos practicing the definition of insanity by covering the same talking points for over 5 years. But personally, my least favorite, also the easiest to make, most pretentious and obnoxious form of content in DBD is the salt content. Now, what is my definition of salt content? You already know what it is. It can be boiled down to uneventful gameplay videos, but the survivor calls them a virgin at the end. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole video. You have now sat through 15 minutes of unedited, uninteresting gameplay that you could have recreated yourself had you just played the game. But instead, we're gonna watch this dude say his ghoul is too much for this salty survivor because the big salty surprise we were all waiting for was 2 words in the endgame chat. You watched this entire video to see 2 words that you could have seen on the thumbnail. And you know, I like Game Boy Ben, actually. He's someone who doesn't really strive to do more, and that's alright. He's not really trying to. He's a streamer first who wants to showcase his gameplay in videos, and salt content in general is just gameplay with a salty surprise at the end. And I mean, what's wrong with gameplay? Especially versus the big bad bully squads. Every DBD killer player has gone against these bully squads and probably gotten annihilated, especially when new to the game. So seeing someone who's probably better at the game than them destroy them while talking shit is pretty fun to watch, especially if they get mad at the end because they're not used to losing. All of you have probably watched a decent amount of this type of content, so what's the problem exactly? Well, even the biggest fans of salt content have to admit that it's fleeting. You rarely look back on a salt video and say, wow, that was clever, what a fascinating study of human entitlement. No, it's mass-produced slop meant to be watched and immediately forgotten about. Meta Plague shuts down the meta survivors and then they rage. Survivor crashes out because they couldn't handle a loss. Knight outplays the survivors and they rage. Pig dismantles the meta swift. It's all the same shit, with the same haha look they're mad when they have meta perks message for the past 8 years. And the repetition of this garbage seems to have no effect on its popularity. They'll just keep churning these out daily alongside other gameplay videos that get 1/3 of the views because they don't have Salty Swift Gets Owned in the title. And it is a clever way to bank off the game's tribalistic nature, but oh my god, does anyone else get tired of this shit? It's legitimately the same video every single time. It's like you could run through a checklist. Thumbnail has Toxic Swift Gets Owned, even if they aren't a Swift, by the way, with endgame chat on the screen. Killer is complaining the entire match only to make a video crying about when the survivors do the same. Their first chase is bad with more complaining. They realize it's a Swift or they're going to have to tunnel. And then they either get a successful tunnel out or are able to snowball in some way. And then they get mad in the endgame chat, and that's it. That's the whole video. It's legit the same video format over and over and over again. How are people not bored of this? And I'm not complaining about them complaining. My god, this is getting confusing. I just think it's hilarious to sit there on your high horse and make your entire personality Survivor bad and Survivor entitlement bad, while constantly breeding this entitled us versus them environment. And I'm a killer main myself. I mostly play killer, and if you watch my VOD, you'll see me complaining about this and that too. Everyone is entitled to do so. This game can be frustrating, and we all know this. I just find the double standards here hilarious, which is one of the many reasons I don't make salt content. Why else don't I? It's easy. It's something literally anybody could do and requires absolutely no talent or effort while rewarding you greatly. If you start with a brand new DBD channel and try to make, let's say, build videos, it won't work. Everything you could possibly think of has been done before and done much better. So why not just take the cynical route and do salt content? It provably works way better. All you have to do is play the game, do literally anything as killer, or even force a reaction by BMing or, you know, hard tunneling at 5 gens or something. And now you instantly have a video on your hands where you can play the victim for getting baited by one bored guy in endgame chat. Now just show the match in its entirety with no editing or value added, and boom, you've got your salt video of the day. Now just make one of these every day for years and you've broken the DBD algorithm, I guess. Is it any wonder why people just don't care about content in this community when videos like this are what gets recommended and does well? I mean, people don't really care about the quality. They'll just doom scroll these because, look, the anon mode Sable in the endgame chat said the game was boring and then left, riveting. It is the same thing every time with no variety. It's like taking the easy path when you're untalented. I would understand the appeal of these more if the game had voice chat, where every interaction is different. You can add memes and shit to spice it up. Like, it's a constant back and forth, but it's just endgame chat. That's all we have. I understand if it's like a big tug of war that goes on outside of the game because of a match, but that's not what we get for the most part. 99.99% of salt videos are just endgame chat PNGs. You watch some uninteresting killer gameplay, and then the mean survivor comes into the chat to say, I know you're a loser IRL, but look at their build though. Isn't that ironic? Oh my god, these salty survivors today, man. Just the term salty survivor has gotten so overused and pretty much means nothing at this point. It's gone the way of toxic TTV, and I'm just bored to tears at this point. Yes, the person said mean words to you in endgame chat. You will survive. And ultimately, who gives a shit? I mean, really. If you don't like the content, content, then just don't watch it, right? Their audience seems to like it when the 5th P100 Renato of the week calls them a virgin or whatever, so why do I have to spoil the fun? It's just lame. I still believe this game has so much potential for new and interesting content, but instead the most mass-produced, easiest type of DBD content is this repetitive, pretentious dog shit. You would not tell a movie critic to just not watch the movie that they're supposed to review, right? And you know, I did used to watch this stuff a lot more. I think a lot of DBD players had a phase like that, especially killer mains, but eventually I just got bored. I love Salt and BM, it's what keeps DBD interesting. I talk a lot of shit when I play, but basing your entire channel around what might as well just be endgame chat PNGs on Twitter just seems kind of lame to me. Like, why bother scripting and editing when I could just do this? But I've been going on about this for like months now, and nothing will seemingly change. Because complacency is king and doom scrolling is an epidemic. I've already looked at a few examples of channels that feature what I would consider to be salt content, so let me quickly deep dive into a primarily salt-based channel to sort of show you an example of the type of personality I'm talking about. This is a channel that makes almost exclusively salt content, which is the easiest type of DBD content to make, by the way, so getting under 1,000 views per video is kind of embarrassing. Like, this must be studied. Zanryu essentially makes 70% salt content and 30% RiverCiver fan videos, which tend to perform much better because leeching off someone far more talented and popular than you while crying about their mean words will tend to do better regardless of how untalented you are. And he's pretty much at the bottom of the food chain. I will try to keep my personal grievances brief since this is about his content, but for some brief history, I've been trying to ignore this guy ever since he tried and failed to defend Spook'n'Jukes with a bunch of whataboutism and no use some time ago after I milked him, and I thought we were done. But he continued to make video after video on me, unedited reactions with horrible logic and strawmanning me on Twitter in scenarios he's not involved in, making more videos on me in situations he's not involved in, to watch my video in its entirety like a 2017 black React tuber eating Pringles, strawmanning me on Twitter again, making more videos crying about the same mean words, strawmanning me on Twitter again. So he clearly wants my attention, right? And I thought this video was the perfect opportunity for a study case. So let's see the inner workings of the mind of a salt creator. Alright, so we got some endgame chats complaining about tunneling. We got him getting bullied and baited somehow in his own stream, not talking at all because of autism, 144p gameplay, no interesting spins on this. Yeah, do you get the point I'm trying to make here? Salt content is what you do, what you default to when you have absolutely nothing to offer, when you're not funny, talented, or good at the game. Genuinely, who watches this shit? And Zanryu has admitted on multiple occasions that he's not only 32, but unemployed and lives in his mother's basement. Like, unironically, he actually does, as well as living off the government.
So no, I swear, how old are you? I'll answer your question right after. How old are you?
32.
Bro, you're 32.
You're 32?
Words in a game?
Come on, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Do you have a job, Zanryu?
Probably, dude, he's in my stream like fucking all the time. Like every time I...
Yeah, my job is
Like, bro,
stalking
imagine,
River.
this is the guy, bro, he's good.
And I decided to show him as a major example of the personality behind these channels, not just because I think he's pathetic and keeps coming after me only to lose, give up, or just get baited out of his mind, but because it only really proves my point of how easy this content is to make and the type of people who make it. You can be a complete failure in life like him, but just bank off people occasionally saying mean words in the endgame chat, and it can kinda work, or just completely obsess over someone more popular than you with 1,000 videos on them. I haven't really ever mentioned him in a video before, and this will be the first and only time. As far as I'm aware, he's Chirag Gupta to me now, and I'll just pretend he doesn't exist every time he tries to shoehorn himself into a situation involving me, because he's failed to impress me with his logic in the past, and when he's actually confronted with anything, he just gives up every single time. Even when he has the upper hand and can strawman to his heart's content, he looks like a desperate soyjack. But what do you expect from someone who's 32 and unemployed? He's invisible Chirag to me now. The two-sided nature of this game is ripe for exploitation, with the us versus them mindset being at an all-time high. Lately, due to recent changes and controversies, it's just lame. It's nothing but appealing to emotion. Most see it as just simple killer gameplay with a salty surprise at the end. Just some back and forth banter, you know, it's funny. And on a good day, it's fairly fun and watchable. But this shit is so mass-produced, finding a gem with both interesting gameplay and unique or funny salt is rare. Especially when it gets buried in a massive pile of daily uploaded slop. Just a man better. Then my P100 Kaneki destroys a salty survivor squad for the billionth time. There's really not much more to say. Am I the only one who's gotten so tired of this boring, repetitive garbage plaguing my recommended for years? The Twitter post of endgame chats where the survivors are saying mean words and calling you sweaty, but oh my god, look at their builds, bro. Like, yes, I get it. I've seen it before. I've played killer. What's new here exactly? I understand. I get it. I use survivor entitlement as examples in my videos sometimes. If you want to use it as like a jumping off point for a discussion, then sure, go ahead. But simply showing the match in its entirety with mediocre to no commentary and then showing a PNG of the endgame chat is just so fucking lazy. But anyways, that should be all. Bit of a weird video, but I just find this type of content so cynical and boring. Thanks for listening to the rant. Bye. And better luck next time, Chirag Gupta. That is all.